3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to Elephant in the Room number 13. I think that's why this shit took so goddamn long to get up, man. I had a whole other video recorded with him and this very interesting older fellow. And there was a bunch of craziness. It was a bunch of drunk people is what it came down to. It was Christmas party. It was a bunch of drunk people. So it didn't end up being viable podcast material. It didn't quite meet my standards for a episode. But I'm back here again. Mr. Antwann's a good fellow. I ain't really get to get him on camera yet. So go ahead and introduce yourself, tell people what you do, what your name is, and all that good stuff.
Oh, man. My name is Antwann, a.k.a. Twan. I like to go by Twan or A.T. Man, I do it all, man. Ain't nothing that I can't do, that I don't put my mind to it.
I don't want to say I try to be.
But for the most part, I'm a great father figure. I got 3 babies. Take care of them. Lovely wife. A lot of homeboys. That's really my brothers, and I'm just a family man. Family come first. So if I fuck with you, I fuck with you.
Absolutely. I've noticed that since I met you. Now, if you've noticed the video quality difference from what it usually is to what I got going on right now, it's because I'm A, not in my usual location, B, I ended up losing some other crazy stuff in my anyway, my computer was, my actual camera is dead at the moment, so I had to go straight off my laptop, so it's my laptop camera. Good news is I get to use my mic, so the audio quality should be amazing. So, what's going on, man? What's up with you? What you think is going on in the country right now?
Ooh, a lot of pissed off people.
There's a lot of angry people.
I
think that's why we got Trump. That's why people vote for Trump, because he's an angry person. They want to show how angry they are.
One of the great rappers from Florida said, he glad that Donald Trump got elected because we got to destroy before we elevate.
No, he's not wrong.
He's definitely right. Shout out to Rick Ross.
So I don't know. I'm interested on where we're going with this one, because right now we started off like 20-some Democratic candidates running for president, and now we're slimmed the whole way down to like 7 real, true, like viable candidates. If you're not making the debate stages at this point, you pretty much consider yourself out, except for the bull Mike Bloomberg, and that's just because he just has ridiculous amounts of money to spend on advertisement and other shit like that, so he can just insert himself into the race. Whether or not he'll win is a whole nother question, but I think Bernie Sanders is making really big moves right now. And like, the weird thing for me is in 2016 I was super like, Bernie Sanders is the dude, like that's the guy we need to elect. And like, I still feel the same way I did back then, but now I'm way more like of a Yang ganger. Like I go super hard for this Andrew Yang guy, but I like him. I think he takes a lot different. At the end of the day, Bernie, no matter how progressive he wants to be, he's still just he's another old white guy. You know what I mean? I hate to say it like that, but he was raised up in a completely different generation, whereas someone like Andrew Yang was raised up in this generation for the most part. Like, he understands technology and like the whole upcoming revolution is going to happen for the workforce and everything like that, whether it be people losing their jobs or people getting better paying jobs. Because if there's one thing that like I don't think he really like brings up a lot is that there's going to be a lot of like lost jobs, but there's going to be a lot more like jobs on the internet. There's going to be a lot more stuff like this and like people selling stuff on the internet and random like house goods and like tables. You see all the epoxy fucking shit on Facebook of making tables and random shit like that. So I think there's gonna be a lot more jobs like that coming out, you know what I mean, as we go. And then you got the whole way the dark web is switching up everything, because you don't know exactly who you're buying it from, but you can look through the customer reviews. But you can look through customer reviews and get your own test kits and everything like that. And for the most part, if you can find good customer reviews on the dark web, then you're going to get what you're supposed to get. You know what I mean? Because there's so much competition. And if you actually have what you're supposed to, you're going to make wild money. Once people come to you, you give them what they actually want, and they don't get caught. And it's like what they were expecting. They're going to come back. If they got it for a way cheaper price, they're going to get on the street. For like a pound of weed on the street, you're going to pay like over $1,000, you can get a pound, you know what I mean, stupid cheap, like $500, $600, because you're dealing straight with the growers and such like that. So it's a completely different circumstance. So like that same type of market mentality, I'm hoping will be transferred over into the general market eventually, and we have way less like Amazon type situations and more people like buying directly from the companies themselves that Amazon's buying the stuff from. You know what I mean? Instead of Amazon making all the money, we just buy from the company itself and they'll just ship it to us.
Yeah. You know, that dark world shit is something lit.
There's a bunch of crazy shit on there.
That shit is wild. I could buy you a kidney.
You could. That's the whole thing about it is like it's one of those things like I'm not saying any of this shit that's going on there is right, but it's a really truly free place on the internet again. And any place you got true freedom on the internet, there's gonna be danger. You know what I mean? Anywhere you got freedom, you're risking your security. That's just how that works. And I'd much rather have freedom than security because you could still just get hit by an asteroid or your way home from work or hit by a bus or have a heart attack or choke on a fucking chip. Anything could happen. You know what I mean? Why take away my freedoms and the things that I can enjoy in this life? You know what I mean? Because of your personal preferences or your religious preferences, where I think a lot of the laws that we deal with nowadays come from is just religious preferences. Like people saying you shouldn't drink or do drugs or any of these other, like, you know what I mean? Or have sex before you're married, you know what I mean? Or just get married in general. You know what I mean? Marriage by itself, especially nowadays, like there's always people say you should get married instead of a third if you're really in love and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, like gay people getting married, if you want to be religious about it, is a total mockery of a marriage in itself. You know what I mean? And it's one of them weird places in the law. And I'm not saying that because I'm against gay people. I'm saying that because in the Bible, it's against gay people. The fucking Bible is against gay people. And if you're going to be a preacher or something like that, you should follow the fucking Bible. Unless it's going to be another one of them situations like, well, it's not a literal thing. You know what I mean? And I love how that's the biggest thing for people that are like big preachers and other shit like that. It's, oh, well, you got to know which parts are literal and which parts are like poems and just stories and scriptures and stuff like that. And it's like, man, well, how the fuck do you know? Yeah, you're gonna tell me you know when it has no markings in the Bible? You don't know nothing. Nothing. You can't go tell me you know what parts of the Bible are literal. Like you're going to tell me that the dude putting the demons that were the legion of demons, the I am legion, that's from the fucking Bible. That legion of demons into the swarm of pigs and making them run into the river and drown themselves. Was that literal or was that a story? Because at the end of the day, when Jesus was talking about it, it was a real story. Yeah. No, Jesus did that. Yeah. No, that was the thing Jesus did. So that was a real story. You know what I mean? But at the same time, then they'll switch it up and be like, yeah, no, that wasn't, it was a proverb. You know what I mean? He was just talking to he didn't really feed 1,000 fish with 2 pieces of bread and 1,000 people with 2 pieces of bread and 2 fish. It was a story. You know what I mean? He fed them mentally and their souls and shit like that. And it's like, no, bro. No, man, no.
People believe anything.
They do. Like the biggest thing religion got for them right now it's been stirring around my head is the fucking so evolution. Are you religious?
You asked me that last time.
I know, but we don't have, this is
like it's I'm not going to say it's hard. It's more of me finding it.
So do you believe in evolution?
I believe in some evolution.
All right, so you don't believe that we all came from a single cell organism that went to a fish, that went to something that came on the land, that went to everything else and just spread slowly and you don't believe that. See, I don't know. I'm one of the willing people. I don't fucking know. I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? But the thing that they got going for them is like, how do you get life from non-life? You know what I mean? Like if we all came from a single cell organism, I'll give you your whole tree as a scientist. You got all of that. All right, so where did the single cell organism come from? How did you get life, living, breathing, you know what I mean, feeding off the things around it from non-life? It doesn't make sense. You're going to tell me in the birth of a star or something like that that's randomly a thing just happened to start feeding on this stuff. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any possible sense. So that's the one thing religion has going for it. You know what I mean? In my eyes, is like one way or another, life itself had to start. And then you have the whole next question of where do you get consciousness from in the evolution scale? Yeah. You know what I mean? Where do you go from a shellfish to something like us that can think, that can actually like understand that it is a thing in the world. You know what I mean? Because I think dogs understand that they're a thing in the world. You know what I mean? And they have to protect their family from harm and other things like that. And people call it instincts, but I mean, what really are instincts but just learned behaviors or things that like you need to do. You know what I mean? Like we got instincts like breeding, you know what I mean? Yes. Eating, how you know when you're hungry. Explain to me the feeling of being hungry. How do you actually know exactly when you're hungry? Way before your stomach hurts, you know what I mean? Way before you really feel any type of discomfort. You're just like, I could munch on something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a hard feeling to understand, you know what I mean? And then to go even farther and try to understand like the feeling of consciousness of looking into a mirror or a sheet like water before you drink out of it or anything like that and be like, oh, that's me. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing. They got videos on YouTube of the trail cameras. You know what I'm talking about? For hunters using shit for the game trails. They got videos of them putting like a big 6-foot mirror down in front of these trail cams and shit, and like pumas and other shit like that going by and see themselves freaking the fuck out like whoa, and then they'll sit there and stare at themselves for a little bit and shit. And like I was trying to think of like, just imagine that as being a human, you've never seen a mirror or like really saw yourself in the water. You like when you just drink water, you just drink it, and then you get like a full-on clear mirror that you can see everything perfectly and you see yourself. That would be an insane experience if you didn't like grow up with it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that like really wouldn't make sense that we do.
Fuck you up
if you didn't grow up with it, yo.
Probably trying to hurt it.
Oh man,
yourself,
that's what they touch it. You got to touch it a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just craziness. It's craziness.
Checking them out. For real.
But we were having a conversation before this. Now, before I say anything, I don't do drugs at the moment. That's not the way of doing what I do. I got too much craziness going on with kids and papers and child support and such, so I can't be risking any types of dirty drug tests or anything like that. Now, that being said, let's talk about drugs, man. Let's talk about drugs. So where do you stand on the whole drugs being, how would you suggest the ending? All right, before we even go on that, this is something I was thinking of the other day that blew my mind. All right, so how deep do you think the war on drugs go in our regular everyday lives? Like, how much do you think it affects like regular people? Because it was something I was thinking about the other day.
Like regular people that don't do drugs?
Just regular people in general. Like, I don't care if you smoke, if you drink alcohol, if you fucking eat too much fatty foods,
I'm gonna be
whatever
real with you. It's kind of ridiculous.
It's everywhere.
You know what I'm saying?
It's in everything, bro.
We can go so many different ways on why it's ridiculous. Like, because at the end, what it all boils down to, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And the thought of it like this: okay, a drug dealer. I don't think a motherfucker is out here selling these drugs to come out here for you to have these drugs to kill you. No, obviously you like this drug. Yeah, that's your choice. You want to do it, whether it's for pain, whether it's for pain mentally or physically. You know what I mean? Not something to hurt you, to hurt yourself with.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I can agree with that. I think especially if you're selling something like fentanyl or heroin or something like that, you know what they're doing with that is hurting themselves. And at some point or another, they're probably going to catch a bag, whether it's from you or someone else. Oh, yeah. They're probably going to overdose on. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I agree with you that I don't think the object for them is to hurt the community around them. Yeah. It's to fill a gap in the market that the government has let be there. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
So you telling me that they can legally sell some shit, and as soon as you do it, you're wrong. You're going down.
Let me explain to you how deep that is, what you just said. So, most of the opium in the world comes from Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. Most of the opium that goes into heroin and everything like that, it's like 90% or some crazy shit like that. I'd have to Google it. My usual dude Tony ain't here to be Googling shit, so we just kind of winging it tonight. But it's like 90% or something like that comes from this golden triangle, I think is what it's called, in Afghanistan. So if they can grow all that opium, that's where most of our pharmaceutical companies buy their opium for, things like Percocet and all of that other types of shit they use it. So if we can buy it from them, why wouldn't we just buy it from Mexico? You know what I mean? Why have all these tariffs and all these other things on them that they can't have? They can't grow opium legally in Mexico, so the cartel grows it, and then they sell it to our citizens and their citizens, and then kills a bunch of people. You know what I mean? And the thing that people misconstrue about the whole thing, like Big Pharma getting people addicted to heroin, it really wasn't like that. It wasn't Big Pharma getting people addicted to heroin. It was Big Pharma selling all of these, getting sold all these subscription or prescription. Thank you, Jesus. Thinking YouTube shit. Jesus Christ. Prescription for all these drugs, like just ridiculous shit. Like people are getting put fentanyl for breaking your ankle or something like that. You know what I mean? And then once you're on fentanyl for however long they give it to you for, 2 weeks, whatever you're doing, what coming off of that is terrible. And then you got most people that live in the inner cities and shit. If you have it available to you, you know that heroin has the same type of shit in it as that does, and you don't want to be sick. You want to try to wean yourself off. That's how most of them go into thinking about it, is I'm going to wean myself off of this shit that the doctor just cut me off blank the rest of the way, and then I'll be good. I'm not just going to be doing heroin. That's insane. You know what I mean? He just wants to shoot up heroin, so I'm just going to snort a little bit to get rid of the sickness. So I know, eyes don't see. Like, for me, I don't agree with any of this logic, but like I can see how somebody goes down that road. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then once you start doing it, 3 months later, you're shooting it into your fucking neck or some crazy shit. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I heard this one joint.
Fucking done. Don't fucking do heroin.
And that's not even the worst thing. Like, there's fentanyl and all the heroin around right now.
Just don't do
heroin. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And then you got meth. Meth is so crazy.
Don't do that shit neither.
Don't do it.
That's for crazy mountain motherfuckers.
I'm about to tell you some crazy shit if you're a meth head.
Crazy mountain motherfuckers.
If you... The way meth gets you high is because your body can't metabolize it at all. Like, it runs completely through your system, but it never actually burns it off like when you do cocaine or weed or mushrooms or anything else that's like semi-natural, you know what I mean, comes from a fucking plant. It fucking burns off in your body, you know what I mean? Now, meth isn't like that. You're high for 12 hours because it's not out of your body for 12 hours. You got to piss it out like alcohol, you know what I mean? Now, the crazy part is when you piss it out, if you drink your piss, you can get high again on the same meth that you took about 2 days ago.
Doing? You just taught me some shit, and that is crazy. Niggas is probably selling their piss.
Oh my god,
niggas is probably selling their piss.
If I was a meth head, I would do it. Like, you're already smoking meth. You know you're already losing teeth and probably sucking dick, doing all types of other crazy shit. You might as well just say fucking buy one big bag of meth in the beginning of the week and just drink your piss all week.
So niggas is drinking piss.
People are ridiculous. I actually heard that from a female comedian. That blew my mind on some shit on Comedy Central. It was funny as shit, bro. It was funny as shit, bro.
Black comedian.
You know better. Come on, man. We're talking about meth. How many black meth heads do you really know? Like, there's not many.
Nowadays, you get, I don't know.
No, you're right. There's drug addicts that are every joint, but meth is one of the ones that's really not in inner cities as much, I don't think. You know what I mean? That's what most of the black communities are. That's why I said it like that.
You know, niggas want that weed.
Wasn't trying to be racist.
Just want that weed.
And if they don't want weed, like some people go like, oh, I'm tired of weed. It's not doing what I want. But you're not supposed to smoke weed to escape from your problems. And that's what most people really come down to when they don't start doing these crazy drugs like meth and crack and fucking heroin and shit. They're escape drugs. So you take them to get away from your problems. Like, I'm going to take this and slouch out for 3 hours and think about how my neck itches. And that's all I'm going to think about. Whenever you do some other shit, like you smoke weed, like, really it makes you a little paranoid about your life. Like, you don't know if you're going to get pulled over or anything else like that. It's illegal, so that's a little bit make you paranoid. But also shows you a little bit of your own vulnerable side. You know what I mean? That's kind of like, that's the interesting things about drugs. Like, so many people are against them, but I think you should be able to experiment with your own consciousness at the end of the day. Like, if you want to try something and see how it makes you feel and view the world around you, I think you should have that fucking right as a person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think when the founding fathers moved over here, they're like, we're going to make a law that you can't put something inside of your body. That's fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you want to put in your body should be your fucking right. You're not hurting nobody else by putting something into your body. You know what I mean? And if it comes down to a situation like overdose or something like that, like, don't get me wrong, I feel for the families that it happens for and shit, but there's people that die skydiving, you know what I mean, and stupid shit like that. Like, everything has risks in life, and most of the people that are dying in these types of situations, just because I said, most of the shit, heroin has fentanyl in it now. You know what I mean? So it's not even what you were really expecting to get, when if everything was owned by, I mean, not owned by, but like run by government markets like alcohol is, you know what I mean? The whole risk of getting a bag of heroin and not know exactly how much heroin or fentanyl or anything else like that is in the bag, it would go out the window. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have like opium dens type situations where people go and do their heroin, pass out, wake up, and go back out into society whenever they're fucking broke, because that's the only place you're going to be able to get heroin. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not saying that some people wouldn't still be drug addicts and still try to commit crimes for their drugs and shit, but I think a lot less people would try those crazy drugs in the first place. You know what I mean? Because I think if you walked into somewhere like head shops, you know what I mean, and they had all the types of drugs under the rainbow in front of you, you know what I mean, everything from crazy stupid shit that nobody really enjoys, like fucking salvia or fucking meth or all that type of crazy shit, or like Molly, LSD, you know what I mean, psilocybin mushrooms, marijuana, all this other type of crazy shit. I think people would, 9 times out of 10, you can't speak for it, but 9 times out of 10, I think most people would want to go for the lighter party stuff that you can wake up the next morning and go to work, you know what I mean? Yeah. You don't feel that constant fiend for it. You're not going to get sick. You're not going to be addicted after 2 times of doing it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people act like they're super against drugs, but how many people did drugs in high school? How many people tried at least one drug in high school? You know what I mean? And
I party.
Even if you want to take it one step further, how many people drink caffeine every day? You know what I mean? How many people smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol or anything like that? And that affects your consciousness in its own way, too.
Yo, I tell you, my man said he goes to Starbucks like 3 times a day.
That's ridiculous. That's every like $15 a day.
Nah. Every time he goes, he says he spends $25 a pop.
So you spend almost $100 a day
at Starbucks.
For that guy. You're retarded. You're retarded. I drink.
Sorry, Jay. I had to put you out there.
I drink I can't talk too much shit because I drink like 1 Red Bull a day. Other than that, I drink water. Like I don't drink anything sweet like soda, tea, juices, anything like that.
Fuck soda.
Water. Like every now and then, I drink a Red Bull. Like I get sponsored by Red Bull if y'all want to sponsor me. I'm here for you. But I drink like 1 of them a day, and that's probably the most unhealthy thing I drink. But I also know that it's super not healthy for you. Like Red Bulls aren't good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Water. If it's not water, it's probably not good for you.
That Sprang shit.
Yeah, tea's not the worst, but it thins your blood more too. So like it rises chance of heart attack, shit like that. Plus some teas have caffeine in them, and that raises your heart rate and all sort of crazy shit. And like I said, I drink Red Bull, so all of that I'm just talking is just like I try to avoid it as much as possible. But I have one sweet drink that I like. It's fucking Red Bull. You know what I mean? That's my shit. That's my shit.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, bro. So we was talking about this the government shit, like what's going on, like in the States. What you think about to happen?
I'm super interested. Honestly, I don't know. It's either Trump's gonna win or he's not, and I'm hoping that if he doesn't, I think it's gonna come down to him and Bernie. Because people, like, the polls show that people like Biden, but I'm really sure that the only people that are taking them polls are assholes. Like, most people don't take fucking polls. When's the last time you took a political poll to ask you who's going to vote for a president? You know what I mean? Like, me, I scroll past them joints on Facebook. It's not that serious. You know what I mean? But I think it'll end up coming down to Bernie and Trump. And Bernie's a well-educated, well-spoken man, and hopefully he can go in there and do his thing and not fucking die before he gets to office. He's fucking old, bro.
Yo, everybody keeps saying that,
he's
but
old as shit.
I think Bernie got this shit in the bag.
I think he does too. Hopefully he takes Andrew Yang as VP. I think that would be a good thing because he wanted a female, non-white vice president, is like what he said in one of his interviews, and it wasn't like on some shit like I just said it, but that's like they asked him what would be like the prime thing for you, and he basically said I want someone with different views than myself, so like young, non-white, female, is opposite of me as possible, so they have a different view on how to run the country than I do, and they can balance me, you know what I mean? So Andrew Yang's not a female, but he's the only like non-white person left, so I think it'd be like a good choice for him to take him on as VP to get some of the non-white vote. You know what I mean? Because that's really important to people like me. You know what I mean? If you have an all-white cabinet, like Trump has like the like oldest, whitest cabinet. Like trying to paint them would use so much white paint, bro. So crazy. Like, but
fuck Trump.
Oh man, it's so bad. I just don't agree with like 99% of the stuff he does. Like 99%.
He's a piece of shit. Like, let's be real, man.
The only thing that he can, like I said, I want people. I gotta give him props for his due. Like he cracked down on a lot of drug rings and shit over the last 3 years. There's been a lot of like sexual predators that went down and shit. And I don't know if that's actually due to Trump or if that's just like all of these places finally getting their shit in order on their own, because like you don't really hear Trump talking about it, and when you do, like it's one of those things like how much can you really give Trump credit for anything that goes on at this point, because you know all the people around him are making everything happen. He just kind of barks randomness that they gotta kind of work through. Like if you ever listen to him actually like a full speech from him, bro, it's so hard to listen to.
Be real with you, bro. I tried. Turned that shit off in 3 minutes.
I listen to him for the same reason I listen to people like Ben Shapiro, because at the end of the day, if you don't agree with people, you should still listen to their side of the view. You know what I mean? If not to agree with them, then to sharpen your own ideas. You know what I mean? Understand even more deeply why you feel the way you do, instead of like, and occasionally they'll say some shit that makes sense, because at the end of the day, like, they like guns, you know what I mean, and shit like that. Like, not everything they do is like, I like fucking guns. I fully like and not for like hunting or like getting rid of burglaries or protecting your house. No, man, if the U.S. government come in, they're not going to use drones on their own people 99% of the time. They're going to come in and try to quell a population.
Yes,
you know what I mean, with people. And it comes down to the same question I asked that the other guy that we were talking to last time I was over here is, if you're in the military and the government sends you into a place like New York because they're rioting because of the way the government is treating the country, what would you do? You know what I mean? Would you go? Would you be deployed into New York with your gun to gun down American citizens because the government told you that they were trying to do something that was wrong? And then solely off the fact that the government is telling you that these civilians, like if it's the entire fucking population, or like we'll put it like Hong Kong, 3/4 of the city of Hong Kong were protesting. If they shoot y'all in there to go put these people down, are you going to do it? You know what I mean? And I think that most of them wouldn't. But I also think that that's why they militarize the police the way they do nowadays. That way, if they need to take on a full-scale quelling of a population, say the size of a place in Harrisburg, all the cops are already used to treating the civilians like garbage. You know what I mean? Stop and frisk. You know what I mean? All that type of stupid shit that they do to random black civilians all throughout the country all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Making them being more comfortable with carrying heavier weapons. You know what I mean? The big shotguns that they're used to carrying now, the M16s you see them with more and more, making them all wear bulletproof armor every day, all day while they're at work, regardless of whether or not they're going to break up an argument between a wife and a father, or a wife and a husband, or fucking get a cat up a tree. They got to have a bulletproof vest on. Those types of things have to have an impact on your mindset all the fucking time. If you're carrying these big guns and you're fucking with all these people and pulling people over for nothing and all this other crazy shit, like that has to fuck with the way you think about shit. Now those people, I don't think they would have a problem doing it.
Hell no.
I don't think they have a problem doing it at all. Like the cops in Harrisburg, I think if the people of Harrisburg were protesting and shit and they marched on the fucking Capitol and the people said you got to put them down, I think they shoot. I mean, that's just my fucking personal opinion. I might be wrong. If you want to come talk to me about it, you can. I'm always willing to talk to a police officer. Definitely willing to bring you on. I'm here because
motherfuckers definitely shoot.
No, and it's one of those things. I don't think a cop's gonna come on my show for real, because then you'd have to try to answer for all of the other cops, because I'm gonna ask you about them, and it's gonna come down to a whole lot of that's not me though, but that's not me though, and then I'm gonna say the same thing. All right, but you don't know anybody that's ever done anything crooked on your force ever, not one time. Did you tell on them? Did you get them arrested or kicked off the force or anything like that? You're going to tell me you don't know of one case of police brutality or going a little bit overboard, stomping somebody's face in after they were already on the ground because they made you chase them. You know what I mean? Stupid shit like that. Like, oh, they made me chase them. They hurt my fucking feelings. Shut the fuck up. That shit is ridiculous, man. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah. That shit definitely go overboard, man. Florida shit is crazy too with that shit.
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is right there with it. It's fucking horrible, man. Most Commonwealths are pretty bad with police brutality and shit, because they got a whole extra layer of court to kind of protect them fucking cops. And that blue wall of silence is very real.
Man, listen, you get caught up here in anything, from what I see, You're fucked.
Super fucked. Come on vacation, leave on probation. People tell you that often. I can't tell you how many people I've seen in jail from different states. Like, bro, I just came up here to see this bitch for a couple weeks. We got in a fight, and now I'm fucking sitting in jail. About to be on probation for 9 months. I can't even go back to Georgia. It's like, damn, bro, I feel for you, bro.
Now you got to start a whole nother life.
Whole bunch more shit. Now you got a letter behind you, whether it's an M or an F. You got one behind you.
Oh yeah.
So that's always fun.
This shit is crazy, man. I've been staying up here since I was like 17, 18. I'm 30 now. So like the system really, I never really been in the system. I went to jail once for choking a motherfucker out. I was in there for like 11 days. Motherfucker said some little racial shit.
That'll get you. That's the favorite thing. That's one of the things that's quick to try to fight me.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But other than that, like, little fines here and there for some little dumb shit. You know what I mean? I've never really been in a system, shall I speak. And I pray for the boys that's really in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that shit is wild. Because, like I said, like, nine times out of 10, them boys ain't really doing this shit to hurt anyone. They doing that shit, the fatten their pockets shit. The government fatten their pockets every day off some shit we do.
Bucking us.
So you know what I mean?
I think one of the biggest things we need is prison reform, man. But I think it's the biggest reason it's so hard to get prison reform is if every single person that came home from jail bitched about how bad jail was, maybe something would get done. Probably even not then, because you're all criminals. That's how everyone looks at you. They've never been to jail. The people that can make these laws and decisions and shit because they have good ethics is the way they get it, because they never got caught doing anything and they have good ethics. They know how to basically say, what would you do in this situation? Would you rob this old lady or would you give her the purse back? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to give her the purse back. Yeah, of course you would, because you never got caught doing anything. You never been to jail, so you don't have any record of you ever doing anything illicit. But Nixon was president. You going to tell me he never did anything illicit? You know what I mean? There's people like that all throughout history. It just because they've never shown that part of their hand, you know what I mean, or been put in a desperate enough situation to be forced into doing something to try to get a little bit of money, they don't understand. You know what I mean? They'll never really understand it. Plus, like the other thing, but back to the point I was making, people come home from jail, the thing you've just been putting yourself through however long you've just been in jail is you got to be hard, you got to be manly, you can't be soft at all, you got to keep it so nobody tries to take advantage of you, and if you're not in some type of gang or some shit, then you really have to try to truly keep to yourself without keeping to yourself too much so you have some type of ally. It's a really frustrating situation. It's like you got to strategize like you're in the military the whole time you're there, just try to survive your time there. You know what I mean? So when you come home, the first thing you want to do isn't go say how badly you were just treated and complain about, you know what I mean? Basically sit here and bitch about how bad it was in jail, because that's how it sounds to you is, oh, it was that bad in jail. Yes, it was that fucking bad in jail, you know what I mean? But people don't want to say that because then you look soft, or you know what I mean? You have that same mentality coming home as you just did in jail of, well, I can't appear to have any type of emotions. I can't appear to let anything affect me in any type of way like that. I gotta be hard, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a hard situation, man. So you don't get people that want to go say anything, you know what I mean? And then it comes down to that snitching thing is bred so deeply into people. So you don't want to go snitching on the jail system about how badly they were just treating you. You know what I mean? It's a real thin line with that shit. It's really weird. You know what I mean? When you got to understand, like, that's not snitching, man. You're trying to better the fucking treatment of humanity. You know what I mean? Because not everybody in there is a murderer. They put people in there that fucking got caught stealing too many candy bars with the same people that got fucking caught raping and murdering women and shit. You know what I mean? Like, the whole justice system makes no fucking sense in my eyes. You know what I mean? There's no reason people that got caught stealing something or anything like that wasn't fucking violent, you know, drug charges is another perfect fucking, you know what I mean? Anything that's not actually violent, then what the fuck? You know what I mean? What are the purpose of putting them in there with these homicidal people that you know are willing to kill people or hurt people and all that type of shit? You don't think that's gonna turn these people more like the violent people? It's not gonna make them more fucking patient and loving to their fellow man. You know what I mean? It's a weird situation, man. It's a weird situation. Like I heard this one thing that they were trying. I don't know if it went through or not. I haven't looked into it for a while, but there was a thing they were trying to make it so if you're under 18, they can't give you life anymore in PA, which I think would be probably for the best. Because think about it like this, man. If you're 16, all you ever around is Bloods and Crips and shit and gunplay and all that shit, and someone threatens your life and Bam, you kill him. You get caught for killing him, you go to jail. You're going to tell me you don't think that 16-year-old kid that might have been defending himself, you know what I mean? We don't know the fucking situation. We're just going to say 16, he got body in jail. He don't have no hope for any type of reform. He has no hope for any type of bettering himself or trying to be a human in a community that tries to make things some type of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they made that choice when at the same time, all right, if killing somebody makes you that mentally unstable that no matter what, you are unfixable after that, how do we send people to the military at 18 to go kill across seas and shit? How is that okay? You know what I mean? How is that not mentally impairing to those children at the end of the day? Because your brain's not even fully formed till you're 21. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you're still a fucking child till your brain's fully formed. How do you not think that's going to have an impact on their neural pathways and how their brain thinks about things and their problem-solving skills to include that violence from that point on? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people that went in the military never were violent before that. You know what I mean? A lot of people from the countryside and all that shit like that, they have no reason to be violent with anybody.
Never probably even shot a fucking gun.
No, probably not. And they go in there and they get into that, and then they have to see crazy shit. Like kids dying and other shit like that.
Shoot up their family and schools and shit.
It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. The worst part is like, no, most of the people that shoot up their schools and these movie theaters and all that type of shit, they're not even in the military. They just people that are here in the U.S. of A. Most of them people wouldn't even have been able to pass the mental qualifications to get into the military.
You don't think?
But they can pass the qualifications to get a gun. That's scary. That's one of the things, like, I'm all for people having guns, but I'm not for everybody having guns. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody needs to have a gun. And it's like, I have a burglary on my record. Like, I got convicted of a burglary when I was 18, so I kind of accept that I don't really need to have a gun anymore because, like, obviously I don't have the best decision-making skills. In some situations, especially when I'm, like, desperate or really angry, or like, I always think back to, like, what if something crazy happens, like my girl, something cheats on me or something stupid like that, God forbid, and I go fucking crazy and I want to kill somebody. You know what I mean? I got a gun at my crib. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of situations like that, but I also think, like, if you weren't raised in the same crazy ass childhood that I had, not everyone goes straight to violence. You know what I mean? Most people can work through things a lot better than that. You know what I'm saying? And, like, it's one of the things I think we should have faith in people with, but I also think, like, there should definitely be more mental examination. Like, it shouldn't just be like, oh, you passed a background check, so you can have this fucking shotgun now and go do whatever the fuck you want with it. That's a little crazy. There should be some type of mental testing that you have to do before you can get anything, whether it be like a long rifle or a pistol or anything like that. You know what I mean? It is crazy. Speaking of fucking training, like, I also think that the fucking cops should be having way more. I think that you should have to have your bar to be a police officer. I'll put it like that. If you can't pass the bar exam, what are you doing defending the laws?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't understand the laws, why are you doing that shit? It's way too easy.
That shit is mad too easy.
Way too easy. It takes longer to become a cosmetician than it does to become a police officer.
All you gotta do is go to the academy.
Yeah, it's quick. It's not a long thing. And it's one of those things, like, power is not for everybody. It's not for everybody that wants it, especially. Listen. Most people that want power should not have power.
Oh my God, man. Listen. You telling me. I witnessed my homeboy, and I ain't gonna lie to you. He probably went a little ham one night. You know what I mean? But the way that the cops handled the situation was so fucked up. White guy. So fucked up. But you know the best part about it is he beat their ass.
What? Oh, yeah. Must be nice.
Hey man, listen, Pete, nice. Right? So let me just put a story out there. Right?
That's why I said white guy.
Listen, this because this is my man, right? And I love this story, right? So Pete, so he went out drinking one night, and he was on a bicycle, responsible,
trying to be semi.
He had little basket on the back he had a little miniature cooler, right? And then the other side had his little goodie bag, right? You know what I mean? So he had a 6-pack in that, and his other goodies. He went in the bar, kicking him back, drinking and shit. So next thing you know, he leaves the bar. He didn't even touch his bike. He leaves it there. he went on a walk.
Oh man!
Right, so he just went on a walk.
He was gonna come back.
Yeah, so he just went on a walk, and he seen these college kids barbecuing. Right, yeah. this is where it gets funny. Yeah. So he's walking, and they're outside. Right, these college kids, and he's like, damn, that smells good. Like, giving them they props. Like, he intoxicated.
Trying to drop a hint. Yeah.
And one of the dudes started talking shit to him, like, the fuck away from here, blase, blase. Oh, and he's just like, all right, you know what I'm saying? And walks over and takes the grill lid and picks it up and looks at the food like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
The girl spit in his face. One of the girls that was there.
Yeah, see, that's a...
He politely put the grill lid down and knocks the dude out. So now, like, 2 other dudes is running out because the girl's screaming. Yeah. He picks up the grill lid again. Like, he remembers all this shit. You know what I mean? And this is in the police report.
Oh, my God.
And he's, like, fending them off with the grill lid, right? So look. So he eventually drops the grill lid or whatever, proceeds, and hits another one. Takes off. And this motherfucker could fight. You feel me?
Yeah.
Shout out to T-Mac. This motherfucker could fight. And he takes off. When he takes off or whatever, they already was calling the cops. And where he was, the cop station is right there, right?
Oh, man.
So he's up the alley going. The first squad car pulls up. And they hops out. Freeze! Get the fuck on the ground. And he keeps walking. They ain't do nothing. They tell him again, yo, freeze! Get the fuck on the ground. Right?
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Freeze, get on the ground. He keeps walking again. One hits him with a taser. He snatches it out.
Oh, wow.
Yo, he was lit. Right? He was lit.
Yeah.
So he snatches it out. And the other one's running up on him. Lays him out. Pow!
Must be right.
So look, he's still good. He takes off now. Now he's running. And another squad car is coming. The dude, the one cop squad car, there was 2 cops in there. He's helping his man because he just got rocked, right? So when the second squad car is chasing him and gets him, right? Dude jumps on him, right? Trying to grapple with him and shit like that. T-Mac gets up, lays him out.
What are these cops doing?
Right? So now you just laid 2 cops out. Nobody shot him.
They ain't never expecting to really get hit though. The cops, right. They don't expect to get hit.
But when they really got him, they fucked him up.
I bet.
They fucked him up.
That's one of those you made me mad situations.
He came to the house the next morning. He's like, he knocked on the door, and girl I was with at the time, she was like, yo, T-Mac, he's all bloody. I was like, what?
They let him go?
Like, listen, his dad bonded him out.
Oh,
so look, I hop up, I'm like, what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
My shoes on, like, nobody fuck with my man, right?
That was the police.
I'm like, yo, what's up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, man, got into it with the cops. I just wanted to let you know, Dad just bailed me out. Yo, his fucking head from right here down was split.
Damn, dude.
You know what I mean? Stitches, they fucked him up.
They're the ruthless,
yo,
man.
He beat the case.
Did he? Damn.
And one of the cops got fired.
Good.
One of the cops got fired. It was because it was a more ass, and like he did nothing to those college kids.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And it was basically like one of those little pride things. So I think he got hit with like harassment charge and shit.
Nah, he got lucky. He got lucky.
He ain't get no probation. He ain't get nothing.
He got lucky. Yeah, he got lucky.
You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, he didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
He gave a compliment. They went off that.
Was trying to be friendly.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And his bike was still there when he went to get it.
Damn, man, that's crazy. I had a dude on my show before. I don't remember exactly which number it was, but his name was Spink. And this motherfucker was chilling in his backyard drinking, right? And his next door neighbor called over the fence and was bitching about him about something. I'm gonna just assume it was music or they were talking too loud or something stupid like that because the sun was down. He lived in like Carlisle or some other little bougie ass town. You know what I mean? They feel like you can tell you shut the fuck up. Yeah. So he told him to go suck a dick. You know what I mean? And the other neighbor, his neighbor, proceeded to get hostile over the fence and pull a strap out on him and shit. And tell him shut the fuck up. And I guess his girl told him, yo, put the gun away, you're tripping. And he chilled out and went in the house. About 10 minutes later, the cop showed up in the alleyway out back. Now the dude that's his neighbor is some type of security guard for maybe the school or something else, but he knows the police, like he has to talk to them regularly for his job. So these cops know the dude. They pull up in the back alleyway behind his house, not in the front of the house like where most cops would usually pull up to knock on the door or anything like that and then walk around the house like they're supposed to fucking do, you know what I mean? No, they pull up in the back alley and proceeded him to come out of his backyard or out through the fence for his backyard into the back alley so they can talk to him. And when he got out there, they proceeded to whoop his ass and charge him with public drunkenness. Now, the craziest part about that shit is he was in his backyard. The only reason he left his backyard was to talk to the cops, and that's how they got him with the public drunkenness. The whole fucking situation was fucked. It was real weird, but they split his whole shit up, like the whole back of his head, his whole side of his face was all lumped up and shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. He said one of them was a girl too. I'd have been mad. Like, damn, I had a girl kicking my face in right now.
And they got away with it.
Yeah, they got away with it. Of course they got away with it. Yeah, of course. Man, that's not even nothing, man. I just talked to that dude, last guy I talked to.
I watched that.
He's serious, man. That's an intelligent man. I give that shit to him. He's really trying to do something for the community. You know what I mean? I respect the fuck out of that dude. But he knows a lot more about than I do. But they had one dude that got strapped to a chair, the shit beat out of him in the restraint chair, so you can't fucking move. Beat the shit out of him. Proceeded to release him to a Uber that they charged to his credit card to take him to the hospital in an Uber. That's how crazy that shit is. And then the other one that they just killed in Dauphin County Prison, the cops beat the fuck out of him and tased him and shit, and the security guards in the prison finished him the rest of the way off, put him back in a cell, and then his heart gave out from the trauma of the way it gave out. Is usually what happened when you either A, get hit by lightning, or B, get into a serious head-on car crash where like you got a lot of trauma on your chest area. And he got struck twice in the neck with a taser. Twice. Not once, twice. So they got him on both sides. So that, like, fried everything out. And then they proceeded to beat the shit out of his chest the rest of the way. So it just fucked up his heart palpitations, I would assume. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. And he ended up dying, too. So, like, both of them happened within, like, a month. And then all this other crazy shit keeps happening. Like, it's coming to a point. Something's gonna happen soon, and it's either gonna be really bad, man. Because like I listen to like Martin Luther King speeches and Malcolm X speeches and shit like that a lot to like for inspiration. Yeah. You know what I mean? And shit like that. And they were very intelligent men. Like the debate between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King is one of them debates like you can listen to it and agree with both of them equally as a black man. You know what I'm saying? And like the hindsight of it now, obviously you try to agree more with Malcolm Luther, you know what I mean, because you understand that that's how you appeal to people's humanity, is instead of letting them look at you like a wild animal that wants to kill them, you know what I mean, make them understand that you are capable of the same type of peaceful cohabitation as they are, you know what I mean. I think that's where he was coming through with everything, you know what I mean. And Malcolm X was like, no, fuck that, make them respect you. If they're gonna sit here and whip your back and make you pick these fields and do all this other shit, gun us down in the streets, run you fucking down with dogs and shit and fire hose, nah, put them down like the fucking animals that they are. And I agree with them both equally.
Damn right.
Because some of these people that do this shit, they just need to be put down. Yeah. They're in the positions of power that people can't really do nothing to them until someone does something to them. Exactly. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
That's just how it's gonna go. And people just keep abusing these positions of power. But that's to say that there's good people out there, man. There's a lot of good people that are trying to do good things in politics, and it's one of those things that like the longer you're in politics, the more you're gonna have to do something that fucks up the purity of whatever you're trying to accomplish in the long term.
Hands down.
You know what I mean?
Hands down. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. You know, our brothers and sisters they love the Obama scenario. You know what I mean? But they don't realize like the shit they had to do, some of that shit.
Obama bombed the most people. Like the most people. Drone strikes, Obama drone strike the most people. He also signed in the Freedom Act, which means the Democratic Party, DNC, can release commercials without having them say that they're political commercials. Basically propaganda, you know what I mean? Release movies and other shit like that. Obama signed that into effect. He also reinstated the Patriot Act. You know what I mean? Which I think Trump just actually did too. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure he just did too. But he also reinstated the Patriot Act, saying that we can spy on y'all as much as you fucking want. Look into your cell phones, go through your emails, your voicemails, whatever the fuck else is in your phone, any type of pictures you got, we can look at everything. You know what I mean? Nothing you can do about it because we have the FISA court stamp of approval. At the end of the day, what they don't say is the denial rate for FISA courts is like 20 times lower than a regular court warrant denial rate. You know what I mean? It was basically just a rubber stamp. They could just do it whenever the fuck they wanted. It was horrible. It's horrible. If you ever seen the movie Snowden, it's about Edward Snowden. It's a really good movie.
That's a true story too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've seen that shit. That shit fire.
That shit, it'll fuck you up. It'll fuck you up.
Yeah, dog. Yeah. That was a real motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Real shit. And the way he went about things is like he really tried to make it so like he didn't want to die. Like he can say anything else he wants, but like the way he did everything was just like he didn't want to die. So he went through journalists to try to make sure it dropped everywhere on the world at once, so everywhere know his name, and like if he pops up assassinated, they can understand like, oh, the government definitely did that, and then people will look into it because you know what I mean. I don't know, it's weird. I'm super surprised that Putin just lets him chill over there, but I'm like 99% sure he just does it because he knows it pisses America off. Like, send him back over here so we can take care of him. Because he knows, like...
we trying to murk that nigga.
Exactly.
You already know.
Exactly. Because I'll put it to, if Russia had somebody that exposed a bunch of government secrets that was just chilling in America, in an apartment in America, they're dead. They're going to send some people over to that apartment. They're going to find him. They're just going to put him down because it's not like he's at some hidden... Exactly. Maybe Hillary. Might send Hillary. They go. You know what I mean? He's not in some hidden location over there. He's just in Moscow. He has an apartment. Like he's living.
I love it though.
If you could go find him,
I love it.
Find him. Yeah,
expose this shit. Shout out to Snowden, man.
Real shit. Real shit. He's one of the people I tell my kids that he's an American hero of mine because like you gotta watch these corrupt motherfuckers, man. The more you let him get away with, you know what I mean. Like if he's a criminal for exposing the government for spying on the American people, then I don't understand what a criminal is anymore. I don't understand what justice is or anything like that because what he did was right. Y'all government was wrong. We were spying on other countries and our own citizens and all this other, man, fuck y'all. I ain't got time.
Speaking of that shit, we was talking about this shit last time. By the way, let me tell these people, listen, we do got some other shit. Yo, you did tell them. We do got some other shit. That shit gonna be posted. But, yo, the spy shit, right? So, you mean to tell me, right? We get spied on, right? We got all these soldiers everywhere else, but here. This is what fucks me up, right? Motherfucker come over here and bomb some shit, everybody dead, and niggas just over in other countries just dictating them like, yo, y'all ain't finna do this to your own people.
Yeah, it's weird. No, it's one of those situations. I agree with you. We shouldn't be putting our nose in anybody's situation. If we got homeless people, we should never be talking to people about poverty. If we got fucking, you know what I mean, the KKK and neo-Nazis and shit like that, we shouldn't be talking to nobody about religious extremism. You know what I mean? If we're going to keep cutting down our redwood forests and other shit like that, then we shouldn't be talking to anybody about deforestation. You know what I mean? We have a lot of problems that we need to solve in-house before we can really go out and do a lot of things that we want to do as a country, like, oh, we're the cops of the world, or we have this responsibility because we have the power that we do to make sure that people don't abuse their countries like we know that they are. And to a point, I agree with them. But if we're going to do it, what about China? We're doing shit to stop people abusing their people, right? Well, 3/4 of the city of Hong Kong is protesting the shit that's going on in their country right now. So when are we going to step in and help them? Our fucking media don't even cover it. That shit don't pop up at CNN and shit like that like it's supposed to. They're way more worried about Trump saying that the impeachment's a scam or some stupid shit like that than really dealing with the problems going on in the world.
People, man. Chinese people bring that pain.
And because we owe them so much goddamn money, they could collapse our whole fucking economy with a snap of a finger.
them Chinese. The whole thing is like what resources we actually like, and I'm not trying to sound stupid, that we actually need from China.
Labor. Just labor.
Within their own country.
Labor and some of the metals we use for microchips.
Okay.
And shit like that. We get a lot of minerals from over there. They got a lot of open country that they just abuse the fuck out of, so they can just rip whatever they want.
Fuck that, man. We got a lot of shit over here.
No, we got Alaska. We can pretty much pull any zinc and anything like that from Alaska and a couple other places, but we also don't want to abuse our nature like that. So we try not to abuse Mother Earth like that over here. If they're already gonna go do it and fuck their shit up, why not buy it off of them? It's kind of like the mindset for that, I would assume. I'm not 100%. Yeah. But at the same time, like you said, fuck them. Like, if it's that serious that we have to buy from a fucking communist dictatorship, I don't think it's really that serious.
Yeah,
you know
bro.
What I mean? Like, we don't buy their cell phones.
This whole government shit is just fucked. No. That's why they need people like us in their office.
Man, their shit is so
like
wild.
Us, motherfuckers.
Like us. Not politicians.
Yeah,
they need
like
real
us.
Human beings that work and just
fuck out.
I think people that run for president, like, that's why I like Andrew Yang so much. He wasn't anything before this. He was just a guy that decided, I want to run for president. I'm not going to go do any of this other shit. I'm going to try to be leader of the country, not because I'm a politician, but because I understand how this country works. You know what I mean? And that's fucking ballsy, man. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love that
you never
shit.
know. He might turn up.
He's got a lot of plans for prison reform. A lot of plans for prison reform and shit like that. But the big thing that worries me now is like they go through all this prison reform and shit. Now you'd have people on parole probation for 20 years because of fines, you know what I mean, and shit like that, because they failed a drug test and now they don't have the money to pay to get off probation when they should have been off a year ago and all this other shit, and it's just a unending circle of uselessness.
Where the fuck does that money go at? You think about that?
Man, it goes to pay these fucking people that run these stupid ass things. Because at the end of the day, like, parole and shit, man, like, when you go federal, bro, you do your time and you come home. And that's it. You know what I mean? You do your bid and you come home and then you live your fucking life and don't fuck up again and you don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things like parole. This is one of those things I was talking about earlier, the war on drugs. Parole probation is 99% a war on drugs type of situation. Like, you catching a new charge for something, okay, that's a completely different situation. But regular people just trying to survive, like, you can't drink, you can't smoke, you can't do this, and this. And if you do any of these and we catch you, we're going to lock you back up. That's most of probation parole, coming and pissing this cup. Okay, I'll see you next month to piss in a cup again. And it makes no fucking sense. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really give a fuck how you're doing in life as long as you're not, you know what I mean, actively participating in something to trying to expand your own consciousness or something like that, then it's a problem. You know what I mean? Now it's a real situation because now you want to do something besides what we want you to do.
That's
or
right.
Feel something besides total fear and despair over the fact that now you're going to sit with us for the next 20 years and I can just snap my fingers and put you in a metal box and you can talk to nobody. And I can make it so that you go in a metal box in solitary if I want to and you really talk to nobody. You get to see a guard's hand drop you food every day. It's the only way you know there's a living souls around you. You know what I mean? You hear people screaming on the block. You know what I mean? Shit like that. And this is another thing. I was looking at this fucking joint. He was talking about monkeys throwing shit, which is a crazy thing, but he said it's one of our base defenses because nobody wants to have shit on them. Nobody wants to, you know what I mean? And most things in nature don't want to be covered in shit and shit like that either. But it's one of those things like you see in the whole in prison is the full-on mental regression of people back to a base where like they'll throw shit on each other and shit just to try to like, you know what I mean? But it's not something you see in the regular prison system. Like, people don't throw shit on each other in regular jail, like on regular blocks and shit. It's only something that happens in a hole, and I think that has to be a direct correlation to the amount of like direct solitary confinement, like the fact that you have no social interaction other than when you come out to like go sit in a box in the outside air for an hour or 30 minutes or whatever you get before you have to go take a shower. And it's crazy shit, man. The shit that has to do to people is I got lucky, man. I never went to the hole when I went upstate. I did two whole years in prison and shit. And I never went to the hole, but I got lucky. It's not like I never got in a fight or anything like that. I just didn't get caught doing anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So props to that shit. Nah, I couldn't do it, man. Oh man, about 60 seconds away from an hour in, big guy. I wonder what's going on. What time is it? 10 o'clock. You probably still got a whole another hour to the main fight. It's Saturday night. Think of the UFC fight. And I know you were trying to watch that shit. I was trying to.
No, nigga, it's the Boston.
I know. I'm saying we're gonna be able to catch the. We'll be done with this by the time the main fight goes.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to go to at least like Lamb.
Yeah, we can go. No, that's only another 40 minutes. We can go.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, shit, you already know. I don't put a timer on them, man. I just run them till the conversation gets dry. It is getting a little chilly. It's not too bad.
Let's take a break.
We can take a break. What time? So we took a break. We had to use the bathroom and stuff. What do you think makes a terrorist? Like, what classifies a person as a terrorist rather than a regular criminal? In your eyes, as a citizen.
Just fucking terrorizer, man. I mean, but that could be anybody. That could be a motherfucker in disguise. You know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
It's an everyday civilian. Fucking Trump could be a terrorist. Terror.
That's why I'm asking, like, what qualifies someone as a terrorist? Because, like, whether it be, like, and there is different types of terrorism.
That's
like, there's internet terrorism and eco-terrorism and da-da-da-da-da-da. But I just mean the word terrorist itself. I'm just trying to break it down as a regular person, not like the dictionary of a terrorist. Like, what do you think qualifies someone as an actual terrorist instead of a murderer or a regular criminal in general? How would you qualify them as differently?
Just a motherfucker. Fuck. How would I put this? I'm looking for the words right there at the tip of my tongue. A motherfucker that's a sane motherfucker, insane motherfucker. Somebody that's like just on a certain tip, just consistently, like in their everyday life, to make somebody else miserable. Like, I don't get it. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's more of a thing to want to do harm to people that you don't know for no other reason than to prove a point of some sort. I think that's how I would probably quantify the word terrorist. You know what I mean? Because it has to be someone you don't know. If you know them,
like a motherfucking Joker type.
Exactly. Or like a suicide bomber or something like that. Or like even the people that we have here in America running the movie theaters and mosques and churches and other shit like that. All them fucked up people. Those are terrorists because they don't know the people they're terrorizing. You know what I'm saying? When on the other side of things, like when you got like drug gangs or other things like that, they might not know them personally, but they know the other gang is the other. There's a specific reason they're targeting them people besides like they are in that place at that time. You know what I mean? It's money or drugs or whatever the fuck's going on. You know what I mean? I don't know. I figured that'd be a good way to get it cranking off though. What? Oh shit. I think it's still on. It's still. It's a different input. I usually name it Snowball on there. I'm gonna cut all this out. So yeah. All right, man. What do you think is the greatest threat? Actually, I'll do you one better. I think you got someone at the door, man.
Might be family.
I'll do you one better, though. What do you think is... how do I say this? What do you think is the end result of this experiment that we call democracy? Because no other place in history or,
that's
time.
A serious thing, man. I think before anything else get changed, I think that the change after democracy comes with the fucking just death. Plenty of it. Like there's no.
Yeah, but where do you see it going? Because most civilizations we have obviously have failed. You know what I mean? No matter how big of a Sparta, Rome, name whatever fuck you want, Hitler with his Germany conquest. You know what I mean? Even England at one point owned most of the world, but it didn't ever work out. You know what I mean? So obviously you can't have
too much power. You're gonna kill yourself off anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with this democracy shit, this shit ain't working either. So
I think it's working better than having a king or queen have a baby, and regardless of how smart or dumb that fucking baby is, they're gonna lead that entire country. At least, now, the biggest problem I have with our so-called democracy is the electoral college. That's bullshit. I think if you're running for president, you get elected president should be by majority vote. Like Trump lost the majority vote, but he won the electoral college because more of those people just happen to be Republicans, and it made no fucking sense. Not to mention the whole Cambridge Analytica thing and everything like that, and the abuse of Facebook. Again. Fuck the abuse of power that these motherfuckers are capable of at this point. Like Trump's a symptom of a disease that's rotten through our democracy, through these corporations and banks and other things like that. Because at the end of the day, like the way the country's set up now is not the way the founding fathers set it up. It's run by corporations and the whole banking system and the whole Federal Reserve system, where we get our money from somebody that prints it off at will, and then we have to pay them interest on the money that they printed off of fucking paper out of thin air. It is bullshit, and that's how our country continues to slide further and further into debt. Like, you can pull up the debt counter on Google, or if you're happy or lucky enough to be in New York City, I'm saying at the stock exchange, you can see the debt counter just rolling. It's a never stop. It's like,
I don't see how the fuck we in debt when we print off our own money anyways.
Because we don't print off our own money. They print off our own money and then sell it to us. That's what I was just saying to you. We get all our money from the Federal Reserve, who is the same people, the same crazy family that makes money for places like England and in a lot of other places. This is one of the reasons that we got rid of Iraq when we did, because they dropped the American dollar. Like a lot of places, starts with an S. I can't think it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know.
We're bombed Siberia. Basically, where I'm at with it, after going to prison and coming home, seeing lifers in there and people that really regret what they did with their life is, man. And then you look at these people that are getting millions and millions of dollars and shit, you know what I mean, and doing all this corrupt shit and just paying their lawyers and doing 6 months, you know what I mean, when people are going to jail for the rest of their life robbing a bank for $50,000, you know what I mean, and people give it to you. People are dumb. I hate to say it like that, but that's the whole point of like how salesmen survive most of the time in life, is they'll just push until people give in. You know what I mean? So if you got a good enough thing to sell, just sell it. You know what I mean? The point where so many black men fuck up because my niggas is entrepreneurs, man. They don't want a boss. They don't want nobody telling them what to do, and I can't disagree with that. But you gotta try to work inside the system for now, man. Because if you work outside the system, like a lot of these men want, a lot of these brothers want to do, you're going to let them give you a reason. You're giving them a reason to do what they want to do to you. You're giving them the reason to use you as slave labor inside their prison system, and it's not the point. You know what I mean? When if you put that same tenacity and everything like that into something, and not just music, you know what I mean? I feel like that everyone runs to music or basketball or all these other things. When motherfuckers are creative, you gotta put your mind into something else. This is just what you see your role models doing and such. You know what I mean? That's why like we need more people like Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know what I mean? That brother's a strong intellectual motherfucker, so we don't have problems with him doing things that will ever make the us as a people look bad. You know what I mean? And if it does, it's not us as a people out here killing each other or something. It's disagreeing with someone intellectually. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I ain't gonna front with you, man. I love when a real I'm just gonna say a real street nigga like actually make it and get the mills like the Diddy's, the Jay-Z's.
I do too. I do too. I just feel like people,
all them niggas, because when it boils down, I feel like if they could keep just a piece of that mentality they had while they was trying to make it and getting in all that shit, and doing everything, and now they got millions. When that situation occurred, to where these motherfuckers gotta depopulate us, like they got the bread to help. You know what I'm saying? And they should. I mean, who am I to say that they would? But
no, hopefully, I hope so too. And that like the biggest problem with me when it comes to that conversation is, all right, it depends on how they're making it. Because when you're talking about rappers and all that shit, you got a better chance. Like Jay-Z does a lot for prison reform and other shit like that and other shit. But when you talking about, you know what I mean, dealers and bangers and shit that are out here trying to make millions, when they finally make it, they don't help anybody. You know what I mean? They continue to do what they're doing until the end of the road, and that's the problem with that aspect of living in the hood. You know what I mean? You're closing yourself off from so much of being able to just enjoy life. You know what I mean? Like me just having a felony, I can't go vacation in Canada now or Japan, and that's I can't go to Canada or Japan. You just
told me some new shit.
It's shitty, man. It really makes me upset because Japan's one of the most beautiful countries in the world.
Hold on. The fuck on. We're not gonna go no farther until you better understand what you get.
I'll put it to you like this: Lil Wayne is platinum selling artist, correct? He does world tours and sells out stadiums all over the world. My man's is a felony. He got that pistol charge. There is no going to Canada to go on tour with him and Drake. That's not a thing that happens. He can't go to Canada to perform in concert. That's not a thing that happens. That's a lot of people.
So he can't go to Canada, period.
No, and I think Snoop Dogg went to Canada somehow, but I don't know if he's a felon or not. Like he does he's talked all that gangbanging shit, but I don't know if he actually went to jail for anything. You know what I mean? That's how he went to Canada, was in the Trailer Park Boys and all that shit. But if you're a felon, you cannot go to Canada or Japan. And Canada sucks because they're just a way more peaceful America. Like you could go up there as a black man and really just be happy and forget racism's a real thing in America, as heavy as it is.
Oh yeah, I know.
Shit.
I know. I met a lot of Canadians working in the hotel,
people, man.
Bro.
Cool people. They come down here and they look at us like, man, how are y'all still so separated? That shit was so long ago, and it's like, well, the people in power have continued to stay in power, and they keep these fucking laws rolling. You know what I mean? Like I was listening to fucking the Martin Luther King speech.
Just fucked my head up.
I was listening to the Martin Luther King speech, and he was talking about how we're out of we're not slaves anymore, but we're in segregation, and the way they keep us there the most is using their cops and their dogs and other stuff. It's the same shit they do today. All these years after Martin Luther King gave the I Had a Dream speech and everything, they're still doing the same shit to us, man. Yeah, it's the same fucking shit. They're just not as open about it. We was just having that conversation, like the dude I was talking to last time. As much as he was a cool dude to talk to, in my heart of hearts, I feel like he was probably a little fucking racist. if not against me specifically, more against Muslims as a religion and Mexicans especially. Like the conversation we had,
leave fucking Mexicans alone.
You know what I mean? It's I don't understand why people keep going at them, man. They just want to get away from them people.
Oh, my nigga, they the hardest working motherfuckers ever.
And the cartel's one of the hardest fucking gangs ever. Like they will put the entire country on lock if it would really come down to it. And the easiest way to get rid of the cartel in Mexico is to make it so Mexico is the one that is supplying our pharmaceutical drugs, instead of going across the ocean to Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia and all these other places that we want to be cool with, but they ain't our fucking neighbor. Like we should be cool with Mexico, Canada, and Southern America. If they're coming across the ocean to come at us, I think we got enough time to like retaliate appropriately.
Yo, with the people you just named, like, we'll demolish it.
Oh yeah,
especially like helping them with the technology that we have here in the States. Like
we give
these motherfuckers are stupid.
We give hundreds of millions of dollars to Iraq every year, and like we have given money to Mexico to fund the war on drugs in Mexico. If it's not working out here, why the fuck would we give Mexico money to fund their war on drugs? Like it's never gonna work like that.
Them nigga took that shit and read up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Side note, bro. There's this thing. Trump went so hard on this wall. It's going to be impenetrable. It's going to be great and filled with cement and rebar and hardened steel. Bro, the Mexicans are stealing parts of the wall. They're stealing barbed wire off the top of the wall. They're cutting pieces of steel off the side of the wall and using it for the sides of their houses and shit. It is ridiculous, bro. It's so fucking crazy.
And this nigga is still trying to put this shit up.
Still trying to put it
dumb
up.
Ass.
It's one of those things like people are like, oh, it's going to save us money on people at the border. How many people still have to travel up and down the border, or they're going to do shit like that, just cut a hole in the wall and
how many hundreds of miles that long that border is?
Oh, it's long. It's long as fuck. It goes from like Cali to I want to say maybe Texas. It might just go to Texas.
So listen, Pete. So it go that long.
It's far as fuck. I don't know exactly. Yeah.
All that fucking money could be used for good. instead of trying to keep those motherfuckers
No,
out.
it's over $1 trillion he's trying to put into that wall, not counting the money that he's going to have our kids and our grandkids spend on the upkeep for the wall and paying for the people to walk up and down the wall and everything like that.
And sign the wall.
It's an unlimited amount of money. It's an unknown amount of money, which is something he would never talk about. But it's not. It's so much. It's so much more than it would cost for Medicare for all or anything like UBI, anything like that. It costs more than that. It's more than that.
Hey man,
to never stop.
You want motherfuckers out? Like hire them.
Yeah, no,
hire motherfuckers to stand down there with guns. Hey man, you can't come over here, bro.
If you really don't want them people, to come to America, get rid of the fucking cartels. Get rid of the cartels. Help them fight these cartels. Help them strengthen their government and shit like that. And nobody will want to leave Mexico. Because at the end of the day, one thing, they don't have to deal with racists in Mexico. They don't have to deal with people running into crowded places and killing a bunch of people or anything like that. They got the cartels and the drug wars down there. That's all they got down there. So if you take away that drug war, make drugs legal and shit so the cartel doesn't have any black market value anymore, I'm sure they'll move into prostitutes and other shit like that, but they'll die away for the most part because they're not going to be able to feed themselves the way they were. The amount of money that's in the cartel right now, bro, they have more money than most small countries in the world. You know what I mean? Like, they're on par with places like Saudi Arabia and shit like that with their oil money for the amount of fucking and America especially.
And we all know Bush made us know that oil is something special.
Oil is something super special. That's why we don't fuck with Saudi Arabia over anything, because they got that oil money. The relationship that makes me a little confused, like, and I guess it's just like the Holy Land, but people are so hyped over Israel. Like, you can't say nothing bad about Israel in the media or anything like that. And I never really understood it. I don't know if it's just because it's Jewish people or if it's because it's like a religious Mecca type of place or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it's a whole nother country on the whole other side of the world that for the most part, like, it doesn't like influence whether or not we do well as a country, you know what I mean? Like, I get that they're our ally, but it's an ally of ours that's constantly at war with its next door neighbor, you know what I mean? And we shouldn't have to fund its war with its next door neighbor.
Oh yeah, we're gonna continue to do it because we're dumb ass Americans.
It's a thing, and I think, like I said, it comes back to where I say that the line between church and state that's supposed to be there isn't there. It's not there. Like, a lot of people in Congress go to church together. They were living in that house on B Street or what the fuck ever. There's a couple joints that I've watched that were pretty fucking crazy. One of them is called The Family, though. That's probably my girl. One of them was called The Family, though, and the other one was called what the fuck is it called? The Family's the one that you should watch. It's on Netflix, though. It's like a mini series. It's like 4 or 5 episodes, but it explains how people like Trump used the religion of Christianity to his benefit, even though he could not quote a single verse out of the Bible if you really brought it to him and told me, like, all right, so explain to me your favorite verses out of the Bible and what parts really mean what to you, and what do you think about David versus Goliath, and can you explain to me the details of the story? He would probably be fucked. Like, he'd probably be pretty lost. Like, I'm sure he could remember shit from going to church as a kid, because as an older white guy, I'm sure he went to church as a kid. You know what I mean? Especially being a successful person in America and shit, you have to be religious to be in a place of power. If you go in somewhere trying to be like, if you run for president as an atheist, you're not going to get elected. There's no possible way, because Christians ain't going to vote for you, Muslims ain't going, nobody's going to vote for you that has any type of religion, because if you're not religious, then there's no way then you can have the standard scaffolding for your life that everybody that's religious is. Like, if you don't have the 10 commandments brought up into you as a child, then there's no way you could be a good human being on just the simple fact of be fucking nice to people. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things, like, people have very little faith in each other. You know what I mean? And it's one thing I'm trying to change for myself, because I have little faith in people in general, but I want to have more faith in people. You know what I mean? That's why when it comes down to things like UBI or like drugs, like, get rid of the drug war, let people do what the fuck they want, because it's their body. You know what I mean? I think less people would die than are dying now when they have little control over what they're putting into themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's a really weird, it's a touchy subject, though, because then you have the chance, like, we have alcoholics now that drink 30 packs a day. 30 packs of beer a day. You know what I mean? So that's wrecking your fucking organs and shit. You know
Oh yeah.
So you're always gonna have people that do things in excess, but there's people that drive their car 20 miles over the speed limit everywhere they go, and they're getting car accidents and dying and shit. And people aren't shocked by that either. It's not like we should get rid of fucking cars. You know what I mean? People going hunting and have accidents and shit like that. You know what I mean? People fall on fucking scissors when they're running. All these types of crazy, but we don't get rid of all those things. You know what I mean? But because it changes how you take in reality around you, now it's fucked up. Now it's fucked up. Even though the weird part is, like, Bibles and shit doesn't say anything about drugs in the Bible at all. It doesn't say anything in there. It talks about them all drinking wine and shit in the Bible. So obviously Jesus didn't have a problem drinking wine. You know what I mean? And
not let me make a quote. I think he said, or not he. I'm just gonna say I think it said. It's not what goes in the body, but what defiles it. Something like that. Something. I don't know. I know you don't know, but I'm just saying. I'm gonna make that quote because I know I've read it. You know what I mean? Because you just brought up about like the wine drinking. Yeah, niggas got drunk in that bitch.
Yeah, no, people got real drunk actually. Like, there's drunkards in the Bible, so there was people that were alcoholics in the Bible as well. So addiction has always been a thing, but it's not like heavily brought up in the Bible. But people that are Christians straight go to, well, you're not allowed to have any drugs or anything like that because the body's the temple and you have to respect it and everything like that. Well, I'm not disrespecting it by fucking putting a plant that I found on earth in my body. You know what I mean? This isn't the forbidden fruit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm allowed to use it however the fuck I'm allowed to use it. That's the point of having a plant on earth. If you're religious, that's the point of it being here, right? God put it here for us. That's the whole point of, like, there's no aliens, even those other planets, because those planets are there for us to explore and grow as a humanity and da-da-da. Like, super center of the universe minded type shit. But
another podcast show.
What?
About some fucking aliens.
Oh, that's another one. Honestly, I honestly had a fun time tonight. I'm gonna start wrapping this up now, though. Sure. Don't leave though. Don't leave though. It's a serious thing. We are over 100 subscribers, so when I get 50 likes and comments, we're gonna start a $10 gift card giveaway for an Amazon gift card. I already got it. It's already there. Just gotta participate. You know what I mean? I will let my daughter pick a random name off of a random comment from the comment section, whatever tickles her fancy. So obviously, if you're inappropriate, I ain't gonna tell her what you said. You ain't gonna win, so that would be a loss anyway. But it's worth it. It's 10 free bucks. There's no point not doing it. But you also have to be subscribed. If you're not subscribed, it's not gonna come to you. So other than that, I appreciate you sticking through. If you stuck the whole way through the podcast, this was a longer one. It's almost 2 hours in. Appreciate all support. Got over 100 subscribers. I told you it's going to happen. Now we're going to keep it going. The goal is to keep getting 10 new subscribers a video. So by my 100th video, I'm at 1,000 subscribers, and we can get shit really cracking. Start making some actual money and stuff on here. If you would like to donate to the cause, my Patreon channel is in the subscription. You just gotta click on there and leave $5. You'll get noticed. In the I'll shout you out in the next video, put your name up and all that stuff, let people know that you were helping out. My next video should be coming up soon. I'm supposed to have one coming up tomorrow, another one coming up the day after this one drops, but I don't know exactly if it'll happen. I might have to wait another day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Anything you'd like to say for people before we roll?
Subscribe. Show my man some support, man. And you're going to see plenty more of me on this thing. For real.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a safe night or day or whatever.